Welcome back to the Neurospiritual Awakening podcast with Dr. Val. And today, in this very special episode 14, we have no other but Christopher K. Christopher K, what a pleasure and privilege to have you on this podcast. It's been a long time coming. I'm really glad you're here. So, welcome to the show.
It really has been a long time coming, hasn't it? I think we were a month out. We were trying to get it organized last time, and it was like I think we were like I was going through a crazy period anyway in June, and just needed that reprieve. And I'm glad I'm meeting you where you're at right now. So this is good, and I'm glad to be here. Very very happy.
Oh, perfect. Meeting people where they're at, that was like my thing at the start of this year. One of like my intentions was to meet people where they're at. So I'm really thrilled that you're fulfilling on my intention there.
I'm not complaining.
Uh, all right. Well, look, I let people introduce themselves, and I do talk a lot on this podcast. I've got a lot of hate about that from from some people on certain podcasts. They're like, "Shut the fuck up! Don't talk over the guest." I'm like, you know what? This is my fucking podcast. I'll talk over whoever I want to talk over. So if I do talk over you, just roll with it. And if whoever is listening, if you're not into this, well, then stop. But for everyone else, please roll with us and engage in this. I'm more than sure what we're about to experience is some intergalactic conversation, which I've been really, really waiting on. So, yeah, thanks, Chris. And say whatever you want to say about yourself and however you want to introduce yourself. That's up to you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, I think it's a little bit easier for us as well to get in a conversational flow because we do know each other already. And basically, I'm a filmmaker and I'm currently in the midst of making a documentary that I've been working on for a couple of years. And we're coming into the second leg of production now and hoping to release it next year. I've been a filmmaker for a long time, and it's coming to a point now where after a lot of spiritual growth, a lot of different corridors of exploration of the mind and the soul and the spirit and everything else, I've sort of try to culminate all that knowledge together, and then basically through amazing turns of chance, which are never chances, they're always divine intervention, let's call them. You and I crossed paths, and I actually interviewed you for the documentary. I can't even remember when that was. I want to say it was the end of last year, but
It was like October. It was around October. I remember because that was
yeah.
quite like a full-on time in my life. And, I was a little bit crazy at the time, but your videos of me are great. So whatever, I pulled through in the end.
It's a lot of editing. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, look, it's one of those things where it's funny that even the timing of the interviews has been very much correlated with where people are at a certain point, and things come across outside of our scope sometimes. It's kind of like we're tapping into something of the energy at the time that we're in, and then that's coming through our own life experience and our words, and then you'll forget about it, and a year later the film will come out and you watch it and go, who is that speaking? Because you've come such a long way since then as well. But those lessons are still there for the audience that are ready to receive them at that point in time, which is just, it's like magic. It's just such a cool thing.
You literally grabbed the word out of my mouth. It is like magic. I mean, your field of expertise is really not my field of expertise. I'm just learning how to record a podcast. And like that's already got me full up with all the whatever, the shit around that. But gosh, the like being a filmmaker, that's like it is. It's magical. I actually that's how it occurs to me anyway, because capturing those moments in time and as you say, people's experiences, but then knowing that time doesn't exist, like, so you like a fragment of myself is there, but then so is my soul, but then I'm here. Like it's wild. It is magical. So I really do salute you for
Thank
what you
you.
do.
I think it's in any point of like when we're trying to be creative beings, even if you're just recording a podcast, it doesn't matter what you're doing or what shape it takes. Even if you're a singer and you don't go on stage yet and you just sing in your home, like it's something that's a creative point of expression. And the more we do it and the more courage we put behind it, a lot of people just think it's 0 to 1,000. Now it's like, if I just do this, I'll have 1 million followers overnight, and I'll have this and I'll have that, and everyone will love what I do. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. You're going to get hate mail. you're going to suck for a long time, and you get better and better. You have to learn from the mistakes. And like I'm still going through that now. It's like every project's got a different set of challenges. It doesn't matter how much experience I have. It's like here's the next thing. And it comes back to the stuff that I've learned from you as well, even doing your course about neuroplasticity in the brain and new pathways. I actively try and push that way every single day of my life now. And it's like you kind of solidified it for me to have it as a thought, where it's the thing of, okay, I need to put intention into that in order to go against that path. So it's like not the path of least resistance anymore. Let's go against the resistance and let's learn a new skill, or, you know, adopt a new medium, or take a new approach to something, or have a different behavior. And every time I do that, I feel a lot better. And then when I look back at it, sometimes it's shit at the time. You're doing it and you're like, this is hard. Like, holy shit. And then you break through that barrier, and then you look back at it and go, wow, I've grown. Okay, what's the next challenge? It's a beautiful place to be.
It is a beautiful place to be and to witness and like be there with other people as well. And I'm thrilled that's what you got out of the course that I ran. I'm about to do that into a self-paced thing, and I'm curious where it goes because, hey, you just never know.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And you don't even know who needs what sometimes. Like you're kind of doing it in order to, because you're passionate about something, to express your knowledge. It's like, it's the same reason I'm doing the documentary, really. It's stuff that interests me. That's the first stop, is like, this interests me. These are my field of interest and my exploration right now at this point in time in my life. And then as a byproduct of that, because you're coming from that authentic place to express it, other people grab onto that, and you might help them follow you out of the dark at some point, and you don't even realize. Sometimes it happens without you even knowing. They don't even tell you. It's just something that happens. And I think that's the work that we're all kind of moving into now, or at least should be, you know what I mean? Because the old world that's collapsing around us and still trying to push for segregation and all that kind of stuff, it's dying a very slow and miserable death, and it's trying to pull everyone into that black hole. And it's like, now's the time to set a new tone, for sure.
I love that. Totally. I mean, slow or fast kind of is warped for me. Like things are, I don't know what time is anymore. Sometimes it is like, was that a second or an eternity? What the fuck?
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
same as me. And it's more and more people are noticing it now, I feel. It's like if you told me something happened 3 weeks ago, I'd believe you. And if you said that same incident happened a year ago, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Like, I don't even know. And it's like a lifetime in a week, but also it's the slow, it's a fast week, and you're like, hang on a minute, I've done a lot, but where'd the time go? It's all becoming very much a quickening process right now. Really
Wow.
interesting.
Yes. Very, very, very. I need to research into that. Another talking about interests, like I need to research into this neuroscience perception of time, like for real, really, really, really look into it.
Is there a lot of work on it? Do you know, are there people in that field specifically?
Yeah, like it's a whole field, like perception, neuroscience of time. Yeah, it's a whole field. There's like labs dedicated to it. I'm just like, I don't have to happen to be one of those neuroscientists, but once I look into it, I'm sure it'll make sense, and then I'll
Yeah,
relay that info.
amazing.
So yeah. All right. Well, look, this podcast, as you know, is the Near Spiritual Awakening. So I asked this of every guest, what was your flavor of the awakening process? And what I've discovered is that it's vastly different for every person I interview. Like, not one person said the same thing. So I'm just like, oh, wow, this is so cool. I'm really, really learning about all the different flavors of the awakening, and also throughout lifetimes, like lifetime or times, how it comes and goes. Like there's this awakening, and then 5 years from now, something will shake you up, or you'll shake yourself up, and you'll be like, oh wow, this is a new level, or a new wave, or a new layer of the awakening, right? For
Yeah,
me.
yeah, it's a lifelong process, I believe, and we constantly go in ebbs and flows of it. Some people ignore it, and it hits them in a very hard way. I've seen that with a lot of people, where it's like they've got this perfect opportunity in front of them to explore something or go outside of that zone that they're just in their little safe space, and they ignore it, and they put their heads in the sand for so long that it comes in the form of illness, tragedy. Like something will really come and fuck with you. It'll hit you hard. And then when that happens, it's like, oh, I don't have the faculties for that right now. And it's like, well, you had them, but you chose to ignore it. Now you really got to go through that really dark night of the soul, and let's hope you get out of it. But everyone's path is totally different. Like you can't broad brush it either. And mine came from a point of having a very, very lucky upbringing in one way. And the main way that I had a lucky upbringing was I was taught to question things. And that's something that my parents, or especially my dad more so, really instilled in me. It was that thing of, you know, be respectful, but don't just do everything that authority tells you. Ask why. You know, see what asking why gets you. Like always find the reasoning behind things. So I got raised that way from very young, and I had two older brothers. I have two older brothers, and I'm the youngest, so I had the vantage point of seeing everyone else's fuck ups before my own, which was a great place to be. And that sort of progressed at a point in life where I was always looking for something different. It's the balance between trying to fit in, not be ridiculed by people for your thoughts, remain an individual in a group, you know, mentality and blah blah blah, and figured that out kind of through high school. But it was 2000. I've had basically two major chapters that really accelerated me. One was we had seven deaths in our family in the space of 3 years,
Oh my
and
God.
and then I was hit by my car was hit by a car and split in half, and I was okay. But this was while I had an uncle in hospital, and the guy who was driving the other car was my best friend I hadn't seen in primary school for 20 years. So it was hilarious. Like on paper, it doesn't even
Wow.
seem like it really happened. And then I got taken to the same hospital as a relative. They were on the sixth floor in neurology. I was in the emergency ward and blah blah blah. So I had this big shift about death and understanding transition to, you know, where people are going after here and all this kind of stuff. Everything sort of came at once. And then I had that realization of, wow, if I died then, would I have been happy? Was I doing what I was meant to be doing? And it really shook me up to go, okay, let's have a look at what I want to do, because I've been living the first quarter of my life for other people. That's all I've been doing. Is I'm the middleman for everybody. I'm the problem solver. I'm the one who has to carry the torch. And I was like, I haven't done a thing for me. Like, so I think it's time to start. And that's when I sort of started doing it. And it's funny, you really separate the wheat from the chaff at that point, because people come up to you and go, geez, you've gone selfish. And it's like, huh, that's interesting. Great observation. I'm just, because I'm doing some stuff for me. It's selfish. It's amazing. But I went back into film and expressive art and everything else, and I kind of changed my trajectory as to where I was going. And that was my first run. And I thought I had some shit figured out. It was like for 10 years I was pretty much coasting. And I was like, this is great. And that was right near my Saturn return at 30 years of age that happened. And then I'm coasting through and like had some, you know, like relationship issues and blah, 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 the usual things people have. Then 2020 hits, and those 5 years were like, it's been like an acceleration into a whole other area. And that's when my project started as well. So it was very much a reminder of what what a dark night of the soul can do for you. It's like it happens for you, not to you. If you want to be a victim, you can allow it to be that. And I was really unwell for a couple of years. Like I've had my problems even physically, and I've gotten beyond all of it. And I'm able to look back at it and go, wow, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, rather than sit there and go, why me? And it's like, I think that's the where the empowerments come from in that awakening process. And now I'm like just open to explore. It's like you get better at riding that roller coaster. You keep getting on it. The drops are still terrifying. The scaling up is still got a bit of anxiety, but you just get
Yeah.
better and better at navigating it. That's what life's about. And I don't know if we ever get out of that funk. Like, I think we just keep getting better, but growth keeps happening if you want it to. And I think I'm going to keep doing that until my last breath, to be honest.
Oh, that's such a powerful place to stand. Like, rather than, oh, I'm gonna dodge bullets, it's like, no, I'm gonna keep riding that wave and I'm just getting, as you say, like more proficient and on a brain level. It's like you've created the pathways and now you're just training them over and over again. And
Yeah.
like, so it is like going to the gym because every time, then you get stronger and whatever that when that wave comes, you can just enjoy almost,
Totally.
almost, yeah.
Yeah. And it's that thing of, I've been saying this in recent weeks as well. It's like when you've got a hurdle or an obstacle to overcome in your life, no matter what it is, and this is that whole thing about having trust. When people go trust the universe, trust the process, trust source, whatever it might be, you have to actually jump the hurdle before you have the tools to jump the hurdle. So if you wait and have a plan B and you're like, okay, so my perfect set of circumstances is going to be this, and I'm ready to run at it. And once that all locks together, I'm golden and nothing will happen. You will be stuck in that energy for a long time. As soon as you have that literal leap of faith, like the fool in tarot with the one step off the cliff, it's that leap of faith, and you do that, and you do it and believe it, mind you, not do it and then go, oh shit, I changed my mind, and try and claw back to where you were. It's like you can't do that. You have to commit. And as soon as you commit, the most amazing things happen. And it's like it really does have you. And like it's overcoming that in your own mindset, I think.
It's amazing. I just had like the most ridiculous metaphor for it because I'm a kite surfer, right? And it's exactly when you're learning one of the most kind of dangerous but also fun tricks in kite surfing. It's called a kite loop. So you literally like you loop the kite in front of you and it does a 360, but
Yeah.
the force is so strong it pulls you at 220 kilometers an hour forward. But you have to commit. Like if you do a half-ass job, you're gonna fucking wreck yourself and like go face down. Like, it is dangerous.
I love that
You
you have that
have,
metaphor. That's
but
so
you
great.
because but because I've done both. I've done the committed kite loop, and it's super fun. And it's honestly like the most exhilarating feeling. And I've done the half-ass one where you like pull on, where like winded. You get winded, and then you're like, oh, I'm dying. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so you got to do the
so.
follow through. See, it's fun, like I'm glad you've got a physical sport to relate that to, but I can't even stand on a skateboard. That's the level I'm at. Like I'm fine, like coordinated wise, but things with wheels and riding a board, like surfing, it's not. I can't do it. I've tried, and I'm just like, ugh. I don't think this was for me in this lifetime. I don't know, but I very much admire people who can do it. Kite surfing's crazy. Like it's insane to watch.
It's so fun. It's just playing in the elements. That's the part that I like about it too, because you're not using you're not being pulled by a boat or any mechanical, like any machinery. You're just literally playing in the wind with the waves or,
Yeah,
in the snow, whatever. You're playing in the element.
yeah.
And hey, maybe you're just taking a break in this lifetime. I heard this thing recently, like, don't judge people. Like, if they're not doing anything in this lifetime, they might have just had like a real rough one, or they're preparing themselves for a real rough one. So, you
100%.
know what? Maybe you were like pro surfer in your last lifetime, and now you're just like, I need a break from this shit.
Yeah, and like never say never. There might be an age that I get to where I just go, you know what, now's the time. Like I never take anything off the table like that. It's like I did that with even skydiving, where I had had an inherited fear of heights, and I was never scared of heights. But my parents were like, don't get up too high. It was that thing of don't do this, and everyone in the family has it. And then one day I was just like, I'm gonna go jump out of a plane. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go do it, and I just went and did it. And then
How
like
was it?
oh, amazing. But like, and it was funny to see the difference even on the video that I was the last out of the plane. So I saw everyone get sucked out like a vacuum, like a Mission Impossible movie. And I'm like, I was so excited that you can see me in the video dragging the dude who's pinned to my back and like, come on, let's fucking go. Like, I was like really revved up to do it. So that was like, that's a really strong experience. But I just love trying new things. And it's when you overcome a fear or anything that's kind of a blockage. I feel again it gets back to that thing of it becomes easier to do, and that's whether kite surfing or making a film. I think there's still the same energy. It's like you're getting out there and trying to do something, and then you'll get better at it, and eventually you'll become a craftsperson at it, and you'll be good. You'll be good at what you do, and it'll draw you to be that person. You kind of embody the role, and it's great.
It's such, and it is. It's such a great feeling and just experience and sense of self and all of that. It's amazing if you do find that thing. So I wanted to ask you, I wanted to jump topics and ask you about your film, right? Anavasi. Just
Hmm.
tell us about like what even, where did that get birth? Like, and what about it? And you might have said it already a bit and I missed it, but just Tell me more.
No, of course. So there's an interesting element that came with this kind of birth. It actually started from a very different place that it is now. It came from a point of frustration and anger. That's where it was born. And it was because there was a lot of, let's call it injustice happening in the world and in our backyards, during that whole COVID period. And it got to a point where I'm like, I think people are really becoming the product of their own lifetime of programming and not realizing it. And it's not to say that to shake people and slap them and say that you have the answers and they don't, because we've all done that at some point in our lives, and I just don't participate there anymore. It's a thing of let's have the discussion. I think that's the main thing. It's like, well, let's explore without letting our emotional states get into this and start screaming our points at each other, or, doing what we've been programmed to do by some other person who's put themselves in a position of authority. It's like, let's talk. And then after a while, I started realizing that the project, in a way, has been adapting as I've been changing as well, because obviously I'm the one making it. But I feel like I'm getting a lot of the ideas come through from, like it's like the higher self conduit. It just comes right through, and you're able to access certain points, and then the right people appear and everything else. And basically, what the film is about is the exploration of all those topics. It's about higher consciousness. It's about the programming we've had instilled in us through even movies we've watched as kids, relationships we've seen play out with our parents, generational traumas that get passed down through lifetimes, past lives, whatever it might be. And I wanted to get a big scope of people from not only the science world, but also from the heads of tribe that are placed around the world in indigenous communities, former celebrities that have their own stories about their own spiritual journey and having to detach from that celebrity persona and what that actually meant and what the worship of the ego means to the human. And I started exploring all these themes, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then basically I had the idea to run a narrative film with characters and set pieces through the film as well as the documentary. So it's basically two films in one happening simultaneously, which I haven't seen done. Like, it may have been done and I'm not aware of it, but I haven't seen it done to this level. So I'm trying to do something very original. And every person that's come on board, whether I've interviewed them or they've come on board to help with the production or to act in some of the other scenes, they're the people of the highest integrity, and very strangely, the ones that aren't aligned with it kind of just remove themselves from the whole thing. Like, I don't really have to do too much in that regard. And then the right people keep emerging, and it's like a movement. That's the only way I can describe it, is like everything's pushing this way, because the main reason for me to do it isn't for fame, it isn't for money. Those things can become a byproduct of anything you're kind of working on. But the reason and the intention behind why you do something is the most important. And this one is basically to help heal humanity. I know it sounds very cartoonish in its approach, but it's like, the world's in a lot of pain right now, and it needs a lot of healing. And the only way to heal is really to raise questions rather than provide concrete answers and shove them down people's throats. It's like, let's talk. Let's have something where you leave a cinema, or you watch a film on your TV, and you actually sit there and go, wow, I'm going to make some changes in my life, or I'm going to have the conversation with that person that I cut off, that I never had the conversation with, whatever it might be. And it's an exploration of self. That's what the main project is. And Anavasi actually is a reference to a Greek word meaning the ascent. And ascending the mountain or the climb is where a lot of the work is. It's not easy. Everyone thinks you're elevating and floating like the anointed one. It's like you have to work your ass off to get there. It's hard. You've got to merge with your shadow. You've got to find all those components of yourself. And then the hardest bit is, once you're done, you have to integrate that back into the 3D matrix that has that programming to it. And you've got to come into that with no emotional swing and like, oh man, shopping centers. It's like, no, you should walk in there and make people smile. Try a different approach. And it's like, that's that flow on effect that I think humanity really needs right now.
Totally. I mean, you say it's cartoonish, but I don't think so. I think it's right on. I think it's literally right on. I sound so Aussie. It's right on, man.
It's right on. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is right on. And Because, yeah, like healing is what's required, but also the inquisition, like creativity, right, is what is curiosity is one of the best things for your brain, for our souls, for our frequencies, however you want to say it or call it. It literally is one of those really high impact states that you can be in. Just curiosity, wonder, um, rather than, yeah, I know this, I know that, I fucking know everything. Like, you know
Yeah.
what? A lot of people know a lot of stuff, and hey, here we are.
Yeah, and look, knowledge is an important factor, but it's a matter of like it's funny, even the humbling experience of sitting across from certain people, where I think I know them because I've watched their podcast they've done, I've watched parts of them speaking to other people, gotten to know them outside of interviewing them, whatever it might be, and then they say what they need to say. They've got this incredible breadth of knowledge that you can just listen to and absorb, and then you hear about parts of their personal life and you're like, oh wow, they're flawed humans, like we're all the same. We've got flaws. There's no perfect person, there's no perfect celebrity. Like it's bullshit. That whole thing's an illusion. And when you start to pick that apart and you see it, it's like we're all just trying to do the best we can. And it's like, for the most part, like there's some people out there that aren't, but it's like for the most part, yeah, politicians. For the most part, like we're all trying to do the right thing. And I say that, but even some politicians, I'm sure they just go into it with a good intention of wanting to change the system in a certain way, but you're kind of playing in the same sandpit, in an echo chamber, and trying to get results is a bit tricky. So
It's more
I
like a
see
litter
that.
box. It's more like a
Yeah,
litter box. I don't
yeah.
know.
And I see that shift into new media as well. It's like podcasts, they didn't exist a while ago. Not everyone had a platform. Even films were really difficult. It was like to get a camera where something looked professional, going back when I was at uni and doing film school, you needed $20,000 to $30,000. Like, and that's back in, not the 90s, 2000s, and you're shooting on film and there was no digital. Then you got to get the film processed. Now you've got a phone in your pocket with a camera literally good enough, even though I despise phone cameras, but I'm saying most people can make anything they want out of their pocket and not have to worry about big corporation and big business. They can get it out to an audience immediately. And then look what's happened slowly. We went from having to wait for a cinema release in order to watch some new content, for it being on streaming services aplenty, and now all of a sudden people are going off that even, and they're coming to YouTube and people like yours channel and everything else, and they're like, I want to see something different, this topic interests me, let me sit for 2 hours or whatever it might be and absorb some content. And
Yeah.
that's the most amazing movement forward that I can see, is like we've got it by the balls. Like, I know it's just the way I look at it. I'm like, you can look at it as a way of, oh, there's so much noise and content out there, everyone's got something to say. It's like, no, we now own what our content is. We can listen to what we want. We can speak with free speech, for the most part, about what we want,
Mm.
and we put that out there. And basically you find the people who may not ever been able to access that information, they now have a direct vein to it, rather than having to go through someone muddying the waters along the way. And then it's like a project that's got an agenda in it, kind of thing. It's like, no, you get to choose, you get to be discernible yourself. It's just great.
Wow. I mean, you're like incredible at reframing shit. You're like a master of creating a context that's so empowering and vast. Because, yeah, like when you say it that way, I can see how incredible, like the incredible age that we live in when that's right. I mean, I grew up where we didn't have a phone. Like we had
Yeah,
to use the neighbor's phone. Like that's the digital age I come from, right?
yeah,
Like we didn't have a phone. Okay. And hey, and here we are like recording this thing. It's amazing. And it
yeah.
is amazing. And in astrology, what is it's like the 11th house, is it? Or like communications and social media and all this? I don't know. It's either the 10th, I think the 10th is the career. I'm getting into astrology recently, right? Like I'm
Love
kind
it.
of I'm not done with numerology, but I'm definitely like I've dabbled in that. So
Hmm.
now I'm like dabbling into astrology, right? And most of my placements are in the 10th and 11th house. And the 10th is all career, career, career. And the 11th is like this communication, social media, and podcasts. Like, I'm not surprised I'm doing this shit, but it's
Yeah.
like that's the way the world is moving. And I'm thrilled to be part of it. And meet people, incredible people such as yourself that are part of that and that envision that as well.
Oh yeah, and there's a responsibility with it because, like anything, it's going to have a polarity on the other side where it can be taken the wrong way. You look at AI and what people are doing; they're losing their skills, and they're
And
basically
brain cells and
yeah.
brain cells. Like I just, that research study I just shared is literally people are reducing. I mean, you're not fucking your neuroplasticity just. You're literally killing brain cells and connections
100%.
and
Yep.
yeah.
And like, it's no surprise. I've seen people who paste their email that they've received off someone into ChatGPT, get ChatGPT to write the response, barely even reread it, and just resend it because they're so busy doing other stuff. And I'm like, that human element is getting diluted. And AI is the ultimate mimic, right? It literally is trying to mimic the divine. It's mimicking you when you talk to it. It's mirroring you. It learns you. It's telling you exactly what you want to hear. It is the
Mm.
friend who is always mostly in agreement with you. And that doesn't help you grow. That's a bad place.
No, this is
That's
the
an enabler.
worst, the antithesis of growth.
Yeah.
My gosh.
So then I
I
look at
mean,
that and I go, should we fear it? And the answer is no, because we can make that do the shit tasks that don't do anything for your brain other than make you want to have a meltdown in a corner and, like just sit in the shower crying. And like, I don't want to do 300 spreadsheets from scratch if I can avoid it.
oh
So
my
it's like,
God.
here's the formula, here's what I need. It does that part for me, which gives me more time to be creative, to tap into the skills that I want. I'm like, I can go and learn a skill now. I've got time to go and learn a new skill. Let me start juggling, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter. It's like I now
Yeah.
have time to do those things. So
Yeah.
I feel like everything's got a polarity, and you can use it in a positive and negative way. I'm very old school in terms of where films are in Hollywood now, where they're made by committee and they're using a lot of AI and everything is looking more and more digital. You watch these big blockbusters, you can see that like it's not the real world. It looks faker and faker. And most films, people don't even realize, are shot in studios on green screen, even the outside scenes. And they recolor them. And I've seen all this process done. And I look at that and I go, well, this is a really good thing because it means that the artists that are actually doing it in the old kind of way, you will feel, see, hear the authenticity come through and you will
Mm.
resonate with that more. And then there's going to be all these bad photocopies of photocopies in the background that no one's going to be paying attention to soon. And I think we're moving in a really good direction. It's going to be a battle. It's not easy. And we're all still navigating it and figuring it out. But I think it's our responsibility to kind of take the reins of how we want it to help our lives rather than hinder it.
It's yeah, it's part of human evolution, isn't it? And thus far, humans have done some funny things with whatever gifts they've been given. I'm talking about like even like plant medicine ceremonies, which are these sacred things, and then what the fuck happened of that with a lot of people just like really misusing the intention now they've got such a bad rep, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Then this, I'm kind of almost curious to see how we're evolving as a species, what will come of it? Will
Yeah.
it be any different? Or maybe not, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It brings us back to living in the present as well, and then intentionality behind anything. Plant medicine's such a big one too, because it's like anything that is a tool to sort of fast track. Again, it's like AI, right? It's like it can be a tool to fast track you a certain way, but it can also be a removal from reality. And I've seen people chasing the dragon with plant medicine, and it's like they basically go have an experience, come back and go, I don't like this world. I like it back there. And they keep going every month,
every
right? A
weekend.
week,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
weekend, and it's like, and you know what? If that's their path, that's fine. It's not my business. If that's what they want to do, and maybe that perhaps they need to do that for a year so they have the ultimate realization. And I'm not saying I know any better, but it's that thing of I think if you give your power up to an external tool of any description to do it
Mm.
for you, to do the hard work. It's you that must do it. It's the inner you, it's the higher self, it's all of those components working together. It's literally balancing your emotional, your spiritual, and your physical state. And I did this as a test. It was when I was going through all that crap last month. I had a really heavy month in June, and I had two very interesting things pop up. The first one was I realized that there's a massive amount of stress around tax time for people.
Mhm.
There's all these ads, end of financial year, do this, get your taxes in, blah, blah, blah. I don't succumb to that energy, but it's out there. You can feel it. And then I started realizing, okay, what can I use this for? And I went, all right, perhaps we do our own tax consolidation on ourselves at the end of that month. And that's what I did. So I sat there and I was like, what are my profits and losses for the year as a person? Where have I made gains? What do I need to go and claim? Like it was like the
That's
same
amazing.
wording.
See, I don't know. I think I'm the righteous one because I'm like, see, you are a master at reframing stuff, like even fucking taxes. You're like, I'm gonna
So,
make, I'm gonna, I'm gonna make it good. Who
so
does
like
that? You
I
do that, Christopher K. Next time I need shit
thank you.
reframed in a really empowering way, I'm gonna call you because,
Please do. Please
yeah.
do. So like I did all that and I felt a lot better. And just bringing it back to what you're saying about plant medicine and the taking the responsibility and everything. I had this issue that I thought I had everything sorted and there was something that was still lingering. And I wanted to find where it was. Like, is it in my emotional state? Is it the physical state? Where is it? And this is going to sound ridiculous, maybe, because I've never said this out loud yet, but let's go. I was sitting at my dining table, and there's one, two, three, there's 6 chairs, right? And I put a place card at each point of the table. I sat there on a day where I was like, I had some time to do it, and I wrote spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, and higher self. And I put them like place cards, like it was at a wedding, right? It was like, okay, that's on that chair, that's there, that's there, that's there. And then I was the secretary hosting a meeting of minutes and communicating with each part of myself. And it
Wow.
all led back to the emotional state. And I was able to uncover some really interesting things. And then
Mm.
once I did that, because I had some physical upsets and stuff, I wasn't feeling well. I was like, sore in the body, flu-y symptoms. Once
Mm.
I went through that process, wrote some things down, did some journaling, next morning I was 100% health. I was fine.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible. I mean, that's the kind of, methodology people are really looking for these days, myself included. Sometimes I'm like, why is this day such a downer, And it's like, well, hey, that's one thing, that's an actionable thing you can do. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're into that, like, but that to me seems pretty logical, to be honest with you. And as a scientist, I like to do things by method of deduction as well. So that's good. I love
Yeah,
that. So
and
thanks for sharing that.
a lot of that came from a trauma counselor. Is actually someone who I interviewed for the documentary, and I did some work with her like a few years ago. It's how I met her. I did a bunch of sessions with her as a client for like a good 6 months, and I
Mhm.
learned a lot. It wasn't even just about learning about the self. It's about learning the tools that then you can apply for the rest of your life, basically. And parts therapy was so effective. It's that thing of separating those pieces of yourself and seeing where the problem sits. And I
Mm.
think you can access that point more because, like, the world is really busy. We're in a constant tornado of I've got to pay my groceries, I've got to feed the kids, I've got to pay the bills, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. That doesn't end, but it's like just step out from the tornado for a minute, and it's like just refill your cup because if you're spreading yourself, so thin, eventually it's a crash and burn. And a lot of people get there, like you see that crash. I've done it before a bunch of times. I had to learn about it. That burnout is real. And as
Yeah.
soon as you catch yourself before you get there, that's like it's a really masterful place to be. And you're being kind to yourself. It's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. I think that's a perfect way to end the episode and like get literal food for thought. I'm like now in my thought processes, so I need to finish the episode and think about shit. Like, so yeah, wow. You stayed true to your word. You literally get people curious. All right. Wow. Look, well, before I let you go though, I mean, you've said so much. It's like you can really re-listen to this episode and there's just so much wisdom in what's been shared. But any last words of wisdom from you, sir?
Yeah, I really love what I'm seeing lately. I know there's a lot of people that are really clinging on to how hard the world is, wars in other countries, all these things. Oh, is it doom? Is the economy going to collapse? If you go back to any other point in time, whether even pre-COVID, 2012, when the Mayans said the world was ending, Y2K, whatever it might be, this doom has always been there. It's your choice whether to participate in it or not. And that's the biggest thing that people like. It's the re-empowerment of the self. Is like, don't feed into the separation. Don't sit there hating people before you have a chance to talk to them. Actually just have the conversation and learn about yourself before you start, maybe passing a lot of judgments on other people or getting into that aggressive state. And I feel like we're here to inspire ultimately. So it's like, just go out and inspire someone rather than hating going into a shopping center and going, I'm going to have a horrible experience. Hate to tell you, if you think that way, you will. Maybe go in and see if you can make that checkout person with a face of stone crack a smile and just make it a game and see what you can bring to the world, because it's much more important than anything else.
Oh, yes, 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 and yes. Well, thank you so much. And again, I love this conversation. Definitely, you're coming back on this
Would
podcast.
love to.
And where can people find you? I mean, where can they find you?
Floating around in the ether. Um, I'm kidding. On Instagram under Christopher K Film. If you want to see more about the film and the project and all the little clips, even there's more coming with the lovely Dr. Val as well through the project. So anavasi.tv. And we're still actually doing a crowdfunding of sorts in the background for until March of next year. So really would appreciate any support. Like, it's a really important project. We all still need to eat and work and do all those things. Unfortunately, it's a reality. So any support we can get, if it aligns with you, please, we would love your support. So yeah, that's where you can find everything.
Perfect. That's right. If you want to support the global awakening, you should definitely go ahead and do that and support the film, and find Christopher and see what you can do about it. Because I realize some people are just sitting there and it's like they don't know that they have this longing to actually contribute. And this may speak to you. If you're there, you don't know how to contribute. Well, this is one way to do it. All
Love it. Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks so much. If you've enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button, leave a great comment, not a hate comment. And, I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Thanks for listening.
Thanks. Thanks, Val.